Tonight on the Evening News.
Fatal highway crash.
EHS, Hubbard's Fire, and Life Flight were all dispatched to the scene to assist.
At least one person killed in a head-on collision. Celebrating Irish culture.
The people who want to be Irish, and then there's the real Irish.
Exploring roots in the Miramichi. Plus, picnic in the past.
The tunnels are more intricate and there's more history here than I was really aware of.
A rare chance to explore a national historic site.
Now, from the Global News Center, the Evening News with Rebecca Lau.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. We begin tonight in Nova Scotia, where a two-vehicle collision has claimed a life. The head-on collision happened on Highway 103 at Exit 6 in Hubbards. Emergency crews were called around 10:45 this morning, and police have identified the victim as 75-year-old Myrtle Vino from Beach Hill, who was the lone occupant of the maroon van. She died at the scene. Preliminary investigation reveals her van swerved into oncoming traffic and hit a large SUV with 6 people inside. 4 of those people, believed to be from Toronto, were injured. 3 of them are in critical condition. Crews had to cut the top off the SUV in order to remove at least one occupant, who was then taken away by ambulance.
EHS, Hubbard's Fire, and Life Flight were all dispatched to the scene to assist. Currently, the highway is closed in this area due to a traffic analyst being on scene.
And that section of Highway 103 was closed for several hours, causing a backup on the highway. Police continue to investigate. Meanwhile, RCMP in Cape Breton say alcohol may have been a factor in a fatal crash last night on the Cabot Trail. It happened just after 6 o'clock in the French Mountain area of the Cape Breton Highlands National Park. A vehicle went off the road and landed in a ditch. The victim was a 36-year-old man who was the only occupant of the vehicle. He was not wearing a seatbelt, and police continue to investigate that crash as well. Well, crews were busy putting out a fire early this afternoon, in Dartmouth. The blaze broke out around 1:30 at a 6-unit apartment building at the corner of Tulip and Beach Streets. Several fire trucks and police were on scene. According to the Canadian Red Cross, all tenants, including pets, were able to get out safely. One witness tried to put the blaze out and says he saw fire coming from the stove when he broke in.
I could see the smoke coming out of the window, and so I smashed the windows screens in, and I put their hose in, and then I ran around, took my fire extinguisher, and then the lady over here, good friend, brought her extinguisher, and then I got another one, and we threw them in there, and it was just too big. So I went around back and I kicked all the doors in and booted on Billy's place, and I couldn't break the door, and the smoke was really bad.
Yeah, it was going pretty good when we first arrived. We had visible flames and smoke coming out of the front entrance.
The unit where the fire started was heavily damaged. According to the Canadian Red Cross, the 2 people who live there have lost everything. The Red Cross is helping them with clothing and emergency supplies. In total, 4 tenants have been displaced. All have found family or friends to stay with. Eskasoni RCMP have laid serious charges against a 31-year-old man for an assault that happened on Thursday. Police say it stems from an altercation between 2 men at a residence. Terrence Levi Poulette has been charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, as well as failing to comply with a probation order and recognizance. He has been remanded to the Cape Breton Correctional Centre and will appear in court on Monday. Well, the fleet of Canadian military Sea King helicopters can resume flying after an accident in Dartmouth this week. On Tuesday, one of the aging helicopters tipped forward and smashed its rotor blades while on the tarmac at CFB Shearwater. No one was injured, but the Canadian military grounded all 27 Sea Kings on the west and east coasts. They continue to investigate the incident, but don't think there are any issues affecting the other helicopters. The fleet has been in service for 50 years now. This weekend marks one of the most awaited of the year, at least that's what some on the Miramichi in New Brunswick say. The community gathers each July to embrace their Irish roots with some hearty music, food and dance. Global's Laura Brown got to share in some of the festivities.
The people who want to be Irish, and then there's the real Irish.
The place to be this weekend? The Irish say it's Miramichi. The city is marking 30 years of celebrating their Irish culture, and they're proud of it.
But there's something about the Miramichi, and we do everything very big. We celebrate, we have a good time, we're there for each other, and the fact that we get to do the Irish Festival every year for 30 years is absolutely incredible.
The city of almost 18,000 takes time each year to celebrate those who settled in Chatham and the Miramichi from Ireland after the Great Irish Famine in the mid-1800s. Many say the immigrant spirit and perseverance reflects the culture and people who now live in the northern New Brunswick community.
When they came here, they brought all their traditions, their culture, their music, and we're able to now pass that on to our children and keep them carrying on the tradition of Ireland here in Canada. So that's why it's great to be Irish and great to be on Miramichi.
The festival runs over 4 days with music, dance, and food. Young and old get really into it, covering themselves in green and orange. Simply proud to be Irish.
I've been coming here for 29 years to this Irish festival, and you couldn't find a better place and have it than up here in the Miramichi.
Well, it's just like it's home. You meet so many people that you know. You obviously meet all kinds of relatives and friends, and some people we haven't seen for over 50 years.
What is it about the Irish spirit you feel like can bring this many people together?
Well, I think we're all green from the beginning, and we all like potatoes, so... And the Irish spirit is well and alive on the Miramichi.
I think things like this bring to the attention of the younger kids, younger generation, how important it is what people who first came here contributed towards this community, and it's important to remember it and to carry on many of those particular traditions, family-wise and so on.
The festival runs until tomorrow. Laura Brown, Global News, Miramichi.
And Parks Canada is offering people a rare opportunity to explore Georges Island this weekend. It's called Picnic in the Past and continues commemoration of the 200th anniversary of the War of 1812. Global's Ray Bradshaw was among some of the first visitors to the National Historic Site this morning.
The dock was packed with people waiting to get aboard the Harbour Queen for the short trip to Georges Island in Halifax Harbour. The island is a National Historic Site and represents one of the many forts and batteries constructed by the British and Canadian militaries in Halifax that add to the history of the city. One of the highlights is a guided tour of Fort Charlotte's underground tunnels. This cannon weighs 18 tons, quite impressive to this 7-year-old boy. But the wildlife also caught his eye.
When we were outside by the ditch, we saw a snake.
I thought it was a great opportunity to bring my little boy out and join my friends and learn a little bit about Georges Island, of course, and have a picnic while we were at it.
And I've come here today with these gentlemen to find some hardy men and boys for His Majesty's Navy.
Reenactors of the War of 1812 were on scene trying to get recruits.
They drafted my boy pretty quick there.
So when's he ship out?
I don't know. When do you go, bud?
I don't know.
They make it sound very glamorous. Yep. His dad's actually in the Navy, or was in the Navy, so follow suit, hey?
Yeah.
One reenactor showed people how to load and fire a musket, which had a lot of people interested, and then he demonstrated the gun.
It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable.
Many of the people were first-time visitors to the island, even though they had lived in Halifax all of their lives, and they were surprised with what the island had to offer.
It's more intricate, the tunnels are more intricate, and there's more history here than I was really aware of. I didn't realize it was a fortress.
I didn't even realize this was a fort. Just thought it was a lighthouse, you know. Didn't know anything about this place, really. I wish it was open more often.
Parks Canada has been holding these weekend visits to Georges Island each year since 2008.
From the shore, it just looks like a grassy island. That was probably by design because the fort is largely buried, it's hidden.
More than 2,000 people visited Georges Island. The same number is expected tomorrow. Ray Bradshaw, Global News, Halifax.
And the weather was pretty good this afternoon for a regatta on Lake Bannock. It's the 41st annual Bud Myra Memorial Regatta. Bud Myra is considered a rowing legend at the local rowing clubs. For decades, he was a beloved coach who helped mentor many young rowers right here in Dartmouth. The annual regatta is organized by Row NS, bringing together several clubs to race in a 1,000-meter race course. The event continues tomorrow.